Hello everybody, Jake, your resident content cowboy here, yeehaw, and we have some early patch notes for what's coming to Unite, and I just have to say they did it. They might have tried to fix Garchomp. I can't believe it. We're gonna go through everything right here and look at what they're trying to fix in the game, and I'm gonna let you know what I think that's going to mean for Pokemon Unite. There's some great stuff in here, and yes, a lot of the menaces inside the game have also been messed with. This looks like a really cool patch. I have breezed through it a little bit, and I want to take a deep dive in it with you right now. Okay, one of the first things that we see, by the way, shout out to El Chico Eevee on Twitter for finding all this. One of the first things we see, Venusaur getting a defense and special defense increase. We've got increased stats for HP, defense, and special defense, which this Pokemon desperately needed so that it could compete in the Petal Dance form. We also have a cooldown reduction on Petal Dance. It's going to get a second off, which is huge because Venusaur gets increased cooldown reduction as it levels up. This could essentially mean infinite Petal Dances for Venusaur. We can see at the bottom right here, Gengar nerfs across the board to special attack. So it starts out just about the same, but as it gets higher and higher in level, it has decreased special attack. We'll see if this is just a little tick down that Gengar needed to be more reasonable, or if this is enough special attack that's been pulled away that all of a sudden it can't really compete anymore. Mr. Mime's Unite move getting a nerf here, which it definitely needed. They're trying to slowly pull back Mime bit by bit, and we're gonna see if this brings Mime in line with a lot of what else is happening inside the game. We'll find out. I still think we probably need to do more to Mime. Here we are with Garchomp. Oh baby, this could be Garchomp's patch. I can't believe this. So its base attack is going up at every single level. Dragon Claw is getting a buff, and Earthquake is getting a buff. You can't see Earthquake here because of my head really quick. Let me move it here. It says that Garchomp now jumps and crashes to the ground, dealing damage and slowing enemies by 50% with Earthquake, which is really awesome. And now it's 60% near the center. Also, we're just getting damage increases on Dragon Claw. So this is really cool. I'm dumb. This is really cool. Across the board, we're seeing really, really great stuff for Garchomp here. I can't wait to see what this means in game. Here are some really interesting ones. So Absol is actually getting a bit of a nerf here, and its stats stay nerfed all the way throughout all of its levels. They seem to get pretty close, but they're just taking away some of its attack. Now this one's really cool. Greninja's Water Shuriken build is getting a buff. For the longest time, Water Shuriken, it just doesn't compete with Surf at all, but now it's getting a pretty good damage buff right here, and we're also getting a change to Greninja's Double Team, which is now that the clones are attacking nearby targets, it's actually dealing 18% of Greninja's damage instead of 15, and that sounds small, but with a buff to Water Shuriken and now a buff to Double Team, the Water Shuriken Double Team build might be incredibly powerful. We also have some interesting changes for Eldegoss right here. Eldegoss's auto attacks are now going to decrease enemy movement speed by 30% if they're affected with Cotton Fluff. So I believe that's Eldegoss's boosted attack right here. I'm sorry if I'm kind of dumb about this. I actually don't know. In fact, let me pull this up on a second screen here and just see exactly what they're talking about. I believe that's Eldegoss's passive here. So Eldegoss's passive, no, Eldegoss's passive is Cotton Down. So what exactly, Cotton Fluff. Eldegoss's auto attacks against an enemy with Cotton Fluff on it deal increased damage and decreased movement speed. So it's every third attack, it's boosted, they get Cotton Fluff. I actually didn't even realize that it was creating a slowing effect there. That's how little I am playing Eldegoss currently. Pollen Puff, we have healing increases on Pollen Puff and a cooldown reduction. So is this in line for being a healing move on Eldegoss? We're gonna have to see. And then of course, Cotton Guard here as well. Bigger shield, bigger healing. This could be really big. We might be seeing the return of healer Eldegoss inside this meta. Now on to everyone's favorite Aegis Slash. Aegis Slash looks like it's getting a bit of a nerf here to its Shadow Sneak. That's its early sword move with the dash. So it does less damage now, and it has increased cooldown, as well as Iron Defense has increased cooldown. Sacred Sword also getting changed as well. Oops. Sacred Sword also getting changed as well here. So now, for 3 seconds after the slash hits, it ignores 25% of enemy defense. rather than 45%. What does this mean for Aegis Slash? Honestly, changes like this could take Aegis Slash and pull it outside of the meta. Aegis Slash for a long time has been very, very good, but part of what made it so good was the amount of damage you did with these massive boosted attacks, ignoring enemy defense after you hit with Sacred Sword, how good it was early. It got a Shadow Sneak nerf last patch, I want to say, as well, and now we're seeing another. So obviously they're trying to rein in Aegis Slash. They think it's too powerful in this game. We talked about it on my video from earlier in the week, but Hoopa is getting a nice little buff here. So it looks like Hyperspace Hole is actually getting a little bit of a nerf and buff in one, almost. So oh no, it's actually a total buff. Excuse me, I apologize. When I saw Hyperspace Hole rings changing the seconds on it, I didn't realize that would actually make it easier to transport more often. Getting a cooldown reduction, and now you can teleport more quickly after having used it recently. So that's pretty awesome. Trick also getting a little bit of a buff here. It increases movement speed now by 70%. And granting a shield for them for 3 seconds. So it's interesting. It used to grant a shield for 4 seconds, now it grants it for 3, but it has a 1.5 second cooldown reduction. So it looks like overall a buff for Hoopa's Trick. Dodrio here getting a few buffs and a few nerfs. So Drill Peck and Jump Kick both getting buffs here. We have cooldown buffs. Well, actually, we have cooldown buffs and we have upgraded cooldown buffs for Drill Peck. And we also have a cooldown buff for Jump Kick. So both of these moves, I still don't know if Drill Peck's going to be that good, but Jump Kick's always been pretty dang good. And now you shave a second and a half off of its cooldown, it could be a really cool move. Tri Attack, on the other hand, is getting a nerf. And I would say this makes sense. It's only getting a nerf to its healing, so you're going to be able to do the same amount of damage, just not recover as much HP. And that's probably fair for Dodrio. Clefable's Draining Kiss gets a cooldown reduction. Follow Me also gets a cooldown reduction and an increased shield. Both of these moves need a little something. Honestly, Draining Kiss on a 5-second cooldown, I'm really excited about this move because I've been loving the Triple Glasses Clefable build, and this could be really huge for this Pokemon. And now Follow Me actually might be viable if this shield is big enough. It just feels like, man, it's so hard to beat Gravity. Gravity is so amazing. So we'll see if this change to Clefable actually changes what's going on with Clefable inside the game, or if these are just nice buffs to sort of the part of its kit that really no one is playing right now. All right, now this is a cool one. Crustal is actually getting a change here. So Stealth Rock is getting a cooldown reduction, which just means you can throw it a lot faster, which is nice. Rock Tomb, once again, I feel like literally every patch that happens, they try to do something to fix Rock Tomb. So what they're doing with it now is an increased slow to enemies. And these are actually pretty huge reductions. So if you hit someone with the beam that you fire out for your Rock Tomb, you're actually going to reduce their movement speed by 60%. That's a lot. And its upgraded is 80%. So I'm wondering if this finally makes Rock Tomb a move that people are going to pick. Truly, I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but if the movement speed is intense, I mean, an 80% reduction in movement speed could be huge, and then you hit them with the X Scissor, or you throw a Stealth Rock in there and they can't get away. It could be a pretty cool combo. We also, of course, are seeing a big old nerf to Zarina right here. So Zarina's been pretty crazy for a while, and these make sense to me. They're not doing too much, but they're messing with its Trop Kick. So now what's happening is you're reducing enemy movement speed with Trop Kick, and actually I think we were getting part of this cut off here. There we go. We had a little bit of it cut off. So we have its movement speed used to reduce by 50%, and now it's 35% when enemies are inside of that wake. And also you're getting a smaller shield. This could be actually really big, because one of the things that Zarina would do in combat is use this to escape, obviously, but also with its Queenly Majesty buff, and that's when you get that free move, basically, when your 2 moves light up and you can use either one. The Queenly Majesty buff on Trop Kick would give you a pretty sizable shield. So this might actually hurt Zarina more than you would think on paper, kind of. This could be big for Zarina. And now we're seeing an interesting change here, Trevenant. Trevenant is now getting a buff to its Wood Hammer, a cooldown reduction, and also it's increasing the amount of time it's stunning an enemy. So more often you're going to be able to throw Wood Hammer and get some pretty big stuns. Honestly, I mean, these are long stun times. A minute and a half for a stun time is, excuse me, a minute and a half. Jeez, that would actually be, you know what, that's pretty broken. I'm gonna say, if they release a Pokemon that stuns someone for a minute and a half, I'm gonna uninstall this game. A second and a half is a long time for a stun. And now imagine you hit multiple enemies with that Wood Hammer. I mean, this is a really, really big stun right here that actually starts already at over a second. So this could make Wood Hammer super playable. And for me, this is really the part of the patch notes that, I mean, I've been waiting for. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mew Nerfs, here we go. Oh my gosh, Mew is just so horribly mean. Solar Beam is getting a nerf in every respect, essentially. The only thing that's changing on it is the amount of damage you get from Mew's special attack, but the amount of damage you do based on your level, the base amount of damage, all of that is getting reduced for its regular Solar Beam and its Solar Beam through a light screen. So honestly, thank freaking goodness, because this move is unbelievably mean and it feels crazy broken. It's also getting a reduction to its plus ability, which gives it a cooldown for each enemy hit. So it's getting a slight reduction there as well. And of course, we've got a Surf nerf. Surf deals too much damage on Mew, and it's getting a damage reduction as well. They're not doing anything else with Surf right now, but a damage reduction for Solar Beam and Surf is amazing. Not to mention, there is more. So Agility is getting a reduction in the amount of move speed it gives you after using it. It used to be 20%, and now it's 5%. This might make it so Mew just doesn't get away so easily. And its Unite move is getting a damage reduction. All in all, I mean, I'm just so happy to see these changes for Mew. This Pokemon, I think, is unbelievably broken inside this game, and I just really hope this brings it more in line with some of the other Pokemon. For me, this is the biggest thing. Maybe Garchomp, honestly, but this is the biggest thing. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the Mew nerfs. If you're watching this video and Zoroark is not out yet, I'm going to be streaming it live once it comes out right here on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I can't wait to test all this out. I'll see you soon.